If the House votes today to expel Congressman Santos, he will be the sixth member of Congress in U.S. history to be removed from office. Santos believes his colleagues have the votes to oust him.
Joining us now on what could be a historic day on Capitol Hill is Lawrence Levy. He's the executive dean of Hofstra University's National Center for Suburban Studies and also covered New York politics for Newsday for many years. Larry, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
What can we expect if the vote even happens today? I know there's some talk it may actually not happen until tomorrow, but what can we expect with this vote?
Well, you hit it on the nose that if or when George Santos is expelled, it's going to be an historic day. We haven't had an expulsion since 2020, I think. 2002. The one before that is 1980, and then you got to go back to the Civil War. It is an extremely rare step, and again, it would be historic. The Republicans started to come around. A number of Republican members began moving toward the expulsion side after the ethics report was released and showed some pretty clear evidence of serious crimes. Democrats have been calling for it. What the Democrats are concerned about now is that although the Republicans called for expulsion, they put no timeline on it. So the Democrats have forced a vote that could come up today, could come up Friday.
Is there any possibility we may see Santos resign before a vote happens?
Well, it's always possible. He may be using it as a card to play in negotiations with prosecutors. I personally don't know that. I don't think any reporter's been able to confirm that. But one thing we do know for sure is, of course, that he's not going to be a candidate for Congress coming up in 2024, and that the process of replacing him is going to move apace, and then that brings the governor into play.
So you've got all of his own Republican colleagues, especially the ones in New York, that want him out. You've got Dan Goldman on the Democratic side, want him out. But the speaker yesterday quoted as saying, you know what, I'm not sure if this is the right move at this point.
Right. Well, there are some serious people who don't really think he should be a member of Congress, who believe that he needs to have actually been convicted of a crime. Trafficante, who's the last one, Jim Trafficante from Ohio, was convicted of a crime when he was expelled. I think Mike Myers in 1980 was also convicted of a crime. So, and the folks before that were from the Civil War, were those who were part of breaking away from the Union. So there are some who are concerned about setting a precedent that you could get into some kind of tit for tat in the future if things even deteriorate more so politically. And don't want to have that. They want to keep the bar very, very high. But there's a lot of pressure building up. The Democrats would like him out. They want to make an example of him. Some Republicans that you noted, particularly the Long Island Republicans, who are occupying districts that have always been considered swing or a Democratic leaning, would like to get him off from around their neck. So you have a lot of pressures building up. We're likely going to see something by the end of this week. If we don't, then we're in a whole new territory, not governmentally, because his vote, at this point is not the difference between a majority and a minority for one party or the other. But it means that politics comes into play, and everybody's going to be accusing the others of pointing fingers for not doing the right thing.
Whether he's in office or not, Santos is still facing very serious federal charges here.
Yes, he is. And again, the question of his membership in the House could be part of some sort of negotiation to settle those criminal cases.
Hofstra University Executive Dean Larry Levy. Larry, great to see you. Thanks again for talking with us, and I'm sure we will talk with you again once a decision is finally rendered in this case, which seems to have been dragging on now since the election.
I'm looking forward to it. It's all Santos all the time.
You got it. All right, Larry, thanks. Stay with CBS New York for continuing coverage. We'll bring you Congressman Santos' speech at 8 or 8:30 this morning, whenever he does decide to speak, live here on CBS New York.